Hi class, let's take a look at problem 2. And the instructions on these type of problems basically say to use any method covered in this section or a previous section. And notice that for this particular one, we have something that has not actually showed up on previous problems, and that is your variables at the bottom. So in this case, it is more appropriate that we use the cross multiplication and we multiply those two. Let me just quickly review the cross multiplication. Remember that on the cross multiplication, it only applies if you have a fraction equaling another fraction, and you basically multiplied these two values and those two. So numerator and denominator, and numerator and denominator, and you end up with an equivalent equation that doesn't actually have fractions. Okay, so for problem 2a, we're going to do that cross multiplication, and let me rewrite the results here. So we're looking at, on the left, I'm going to put 6 and x, or simply 6x. This is equal to 12 times 18. So this will be 12 times 18. And at this point, we don't have fractions. Our variable is on the numerator, and I'm just going to be dividing by 6. So we're looking at, we'll simplify it in a minute, at x is equal to, well, the values of 12 times 18 divided by 6. And let me simplify. 12 is 2 times 6, and then we have the 18. So technically, times the 18 divided by 6. And we can cancel the 6's, and that's going to end up with 2 times 18, which is going to be 36. So our final answer, x is equal to the values of 36. And that's it for this one. Here, cross multiplication, I think would have been easier, because otherwise you're multiplying by x and then you're multiplying by 12. It does create this extra step of the division, which we technically already had the 6 isolated without the variable. But this is an appropriate method to use here. Let me check all the values, but we're good with 36 as the answer. Let's move on to problem B. In problem B, we have the same situation, a variable at the bottom. So let me just box that in. So our variable's at the bottom. I'll just put a circle there to keep track of the variable. And let's actually multiply these two and those two. And I'm going to end up with the x's let me put the x's on the left. So this will be 4.1 times x, and this is equal to 2.3 times the values of 5.6. And then at this point, we can actually divide by the 4.1, divide by the 4.1. So we've isolated the variable. So x is equal to 2.3 times 5.6 over the values of 4.1. And since your original numbers are given as technically decimals with 1 decimal place, our final answer will be appropriate if we express it as a decimal with as a number with 1 decimal place. So let me carry that multiplication on the side. It's going to be a little bit messy, but we're looking at 5.6 times 2.3. And then as we multiplied the 3 times 6, that's going to be 18. We carry 1. 5 times 3 would be 15, plus 1 would be 16. And let's now multiply by 2. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. We carry 1. 5 times 2 is 10, and 1, 11. Adding this sum, it's going to give us an 8, a 2, and a 1 with 2 decimal places. Let me check all the numbers, but I'm getting 12.88. So this ends up giving us 12.88 divided by 4.1. And technically, this is not an appropriate answer because we still have to carry on the division. To carry on the division, let me make it into a fraction with no decimals. So we're going to multiply by 100 and multiply by 100. And let me just carry this here. So we're looking at x is equal to 1288 over 4100. Okay, so this is a fraction, but it's not in reduced form. Both of these are divisible by 2. They also divide by 4. So let me carry a division by 4. And this is going to give us, as we divide by 4, 322 over 1025. And let me just double check that. Give me just a second. Okay, so we're good here. Now, so this is a fraction in reduced form, and what I'm doing is just dividing by 2's by 4, and we're matching up to here. So this is a perfectly fine answer if we were to be given original fractions. So in this case, x is equal to 322 divided by 1025. It's in reduced form. But here's the problem. Your original problems are not given as a fraction. They're in fact given as an integer with a decimal. So we're going to have to carry the division at least to one decimal place. So what I'm going to do here on the side is carry on the division. So this will be 1025. And we're dividing 3 to 2. Okay, so it doesn't fit. So we're going to put the decimal and add the 0. And we're looking at 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. We carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6 and 1 is 7. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we carry the subtraction. But let me double check the multiplication. 15, we carry 1. 6 and 1 is 7. 0 and 3. This is supposed to be a 3. And then at this point, we're going to be subtracting. This reduces to a 1. This is now a 10. So that's going to give us a 5. This is now a 1. That's an 11. That's going to be a 4. And a 1 and a 0. We can go one more. So we're going to be adding a 0. And this is going to fit once. So let me just check the subtraction. Okay, and it fits 1. So 5 times 1 is equal to 5. 2 times 1 is equal to 2. And 0 and 1. And then we're going to carry the subtraction. So that's going to be technically now a 4, 10. This is a 5. That's a 2, a 4. Okay, and we're good up to here. So we need one more decimal. So we're going to add the 0. And then it's going to fit 4. Okay, we're good here. I'm not going to go further. I was just checking to make sure to see if this one divides. Give me a minute. So let me check this with the calculator. So 322 divided by 1025. Yeah, we're good. So this one is going to be approximately 0.31. And as I was checking here, I was just checking to see if it would divide into a larger value for the rounding to 0.32. Obviously, you would want to check it with a calculator. This one, it's a little bit messy. But that's it for problem B. Let's move on to problem C. And good news on problem C. So on problem C, we just have the 3 divided by 1. As we carry the cross multiplication, so we're going to be multiplying by 3 and by 1, we're going to end up with 1 times r is equal to 3 times 3, or r is equal to 9. And that's it for this one. Let's move on to D. And D, cross multiplication would be fine. We're going to multiply these two and those two. And on the left, we're going to have 1/2 times r. This is equal to 8 times 4. And then here, instead of multiplying, let me just do the other multiplication times 2 times 2, and this is going to cancel the fraction. So we're going to end up with r is equal to 8 times 4 times 2, or r is equal to 32 times 2, r is equal to 64. That's it for D. Let's move on to E. Okay, so E requires that we remember one of the properties from the past, and this is if you have any divisions by 0 would be undefined. So on E, you would basically rewrite it as, well, undefined. In this case, 3 divided by 0 is undefined. I'm going to write that as side work. And in this case, it'll be a no solution. And if they want a set, it's going to be technically the empty set. But you do have to mention in your work that the division is not defined. So you're not able to divide by 0. Since 0 is in the denominator, this is one of the special cases that showed up earlier. This is a no solution. And this is not to be confused with F. With F, you could have the values of 0 divided by 3. This is equal to 0. So for this one, our answer is going to be 0 is equal to x, which really means x is equal to 0. So careful on the last two. As you're solving equations, if any of the solutions happens to be not defined, or if your variables cancel out, automatically it's a no solution. But you are able to have a 0 on the numerator, which will just mean that the only statement that makes that statement true, it's 0. And that's it for these problems. I try to use cross multiplication for all of them, since technically it was the new technique, but it's not really required to use unless I specifically say to use it.